we'll start a new topic. Okay, that is Linux. Linux is the base for any cloud and DevOps nowadays. Windows and Linux, these are the two most used operating system. But in the DevOps world, you will find Linux usage more. Okay, so let's learn about Linux. Okay, so what is Linux? Linux is an open source operating system kernel. Okay, remember it is an operating system kernel. Okay, and which is the core for various Linux distributions. Okay, so let's understand the term open source and Linux distributions as well. Open source means uh, it's a term related to software, you can say software programming. So the programmers write the code can be application related or it can be system related as well. So anything which is written in the form of program, and when we get that program as it is, when the end user gets that program as it is, that is called as a source code. When the source code is available to the end user, that is a that is a open source. Okay, so generally the open source operating system means a system kernel means that the source code of that kernel is made available to the end user for free. Okay, and that's called as open source. Linux distribution, various Linux distributions means you must have heard about Fedora, Red Hat, Ubuntu. These are various distributions of Linux, but all are using a common system kernel. Okay, that is kernel. Okay, so what is kernel? That will also see that. And what are the various components of Linux kernel? They are kernel, shell, libraries, utilities, and system tools. Okay, so we'll learn more about it. So Linux was it was found by Linus Torvald. Okay, who created first Linux kernel. Okay, and from then onwards till today, everybody is collaborating with in that open source project. And Linux history is also very interesting. Linus Torvald in 1991 was one of the student in Finland. Okay, he was working on his own project wherein he needed an operating system. Okay, so what he did, Unix was one of the operating systems available. He downloaded the kernel. Unix kernel was made available for free for learning purpose. He downloaded it. Okay, he modified it because as the source code was available, he modified it and kept it on internet. And he asked other peoples to uh, collaborate in that project. He said that this is what I have done. If you have any suggestions, let me know. I'll try to incorporate in that code. Okay, till then, uh, from then till now, everybody is collaborating in that open source project. Okay, and as I said, there are various Linux distribution: Ubuntu, Fedora, CentOS, Red Hat. Okay, there are many open source and all. So as I said, any operating system comprises of kernel, shell, okay, utilities. Okay, so we cannot interact with the hardware of the operating system directly. Okay, so via kernel we interact with the hardware. Kernel understands the zeros and ones of hardware. Okay, hardware understand only zeros, anything in zeros and one, or you can say in a binary number system. And we via shell in English language interact with the kernel. Okay, and the kernel interacts with the hardware. And along with shell, we also have some applications, utilities, and also via editor, cd command, grep. Okay, this will be writing on the shell. Okay, and via shell we interact with the kernel, and via kernel we interact with the hardware of the any laptop or a CPU, or you can say server as well. So kernel is the heart of operating system. So this Linux kernel. Okay, so actually Linux is a kernel. Okay, and Ubuntu, Red Hat, these are all operating systems. So generally Linux is called as a kernel, and this kernel was developed by Linus kernel and Linus Torvald, and this kernel is used in most of the operating systems. Ubuntu, Red Hat, OpenSUSE and all. This is the base. Other utilities, sales and GUI look and feel will be different, but core is same. So most of the commands will work as it is. Okay. So we'll be learning various commands today. PWD, which will be used for printing our working directory, LS for listing the contents, mkdir to make directory, cd to change. Okay. So all these commands we'll be learning today.